So we have said we are looking at the paper of December 2022. The paper of December 2022. And in that paper, question 1A, inasema state 4 characteristics of a good measure of dispersion. Explain the meaning of the following terms as used in set theory. As we agreed, we are checking those solutions from your notes. Once again, you can see the topic on descriptive statistics being repeated. We saw it appear twice in the other paper. Set theory has been repeated. We saw it in the other paper. So you need to be familiar with it. Part C, on the issue of distance and visits, I believe we solved that question in class. Is that so? Someone can confirm that that question was solved in class.
Yes.
Good. So if we are confirming that we solved that question in class, that takes us now to question number 2A. Now, question number 2A inasema, Shoetech Limited, a manufacturer of stylish shoes, estimates that at full-scale production, it would sell between 2,000 and 3,000 pairs of shoes. The total monthly revenue in thousands of shillings over the range is represented by the function TR is 3x squared plus 7x. The firm estimates that the marginal costs MC in thousands of shillings could be represented by the function MC 5x squared minus 3x minus 2. And fixed cost will be shillings 1,000 per month, where X is the monthly output in thousands of pairs of shoes. You are required to derive the average costs and the average revenue functions of the firm. Okay, so if they require average cost function, average cost, it is given as total cost. Is given as total cost, you divide by number of units. You divide by number of units. The average cost is the total cost, you divide by the number of units. So in this case, our total cost will be obtained by the integral of the marginal cost. The integration of the marginal cost with respect to X. So we are saying we shall integrate the marginal cost function, which we are told is the 5x squared minus 3x minus 2. So we are integrating this with respect to X. When it comes to integration, we remember so well what we do. You take the function as it is, so 5x squared. Then you add back 1, divide by the new power, 2 plus 1. Then you come here, you say minus 3x. 3x is currently raised to power 1. So you say 1, you add back 1. Divide by the new power, 1 plus 1. Then this one minus 2, it is currently 2x raised to power 0. So you add back 1, then divide by the new power, 0 plus 1. And then you add the constant of integration C. The constant of integration C. So this one becomes 5x cubed out of 3 minus this one. When you divide, you get 1.5x squared. And this one you get minus 2x plus C. C, we always, or we said, someone to remind me, C is what? Tulisema C na total cost function is always what?
The fixed cost.
Good, the fixed cost. So if it's the fixed cost, we are told the fixed cost is 1,000. And because the functions are in thousands, then you just say plus 1. That is the total cost function. So the average cost then, the average cost will then be given as 5x cubed out of 3 minus 1.5x squared minus 2x plus 1. Now the whole of this you divide by x. The whole of this divide by x. And this now will open up as this x to cancel here. You achieve 5x squared out of 3. Na hii nayo ikuwe minus 1.5x. Na hii baki minus 2. Na hii baki 1 out of x. That will remain as 1 out of x. So that is the average cost. So if that is the average cost, from there, the next thing that we are told to develop is the average revenue. The average revenue. So if they wanted to do the average revenue, so we will come here and say that average revenue will be equal to total revenue. You divide by total units. So we are already informed. That the total revenue is 3x squared. 3x squared plus 7x. So you divide here by x. And when you divide by x, the results will be 3x plus 7. 3x plus 7. That is what you get. 3x plus 7. Calculate the profit maximizing output. So you will come here and say that profit is supposed to be total revenue you minus total cost. Total revenue you minus total cost. So I'm going to wrap here so that your function yangu ikoshe data ya kuibreak. So we know that profit inasimamiwa na pi. So pi is equal to the revenue. Revenue is 3x squared. 3x squared plus 7x. That is the revenue. You minus the total cost. The total cost tulikuwa tumesema ni 5x cubed out of 3 minus 1.5x squared minus 2x plus 1. That is what was our total cost. is what was our total cost. So if that is what was our total cost, we shall come here and seek to open the brackets and say that pi is 3x squared plus 7x minus 5x cubed out of 3 plus 1.5x squared plus 2x minus 1. When you open the brackets, that is what you're getting. From there, putting items together, we will say pi. Now this square to join this square, so that we will have 4.5x squared. And after this x to join this x, so that we have 9x. Then this one, we have, it is on its own, so it's 5x cubed out of 3. And then this negative is on its own. So that is the total profit function. That is the total profit function. The total profit function. So, tukazidi kusema that if you desire maximum profit, you say for maximum profit, if you differentiate with respect to x, this function, 4.5x squared plus 9x minus 5x cubed out of 3 minus 1. You should be able to get a 0. When you differentiate 4.5x squared plus 9x minus 5x cubed minus 1. It should give you a 0. So when I differentiate, this one I multiply, I end up with 9x plus 9. This one, this 3 to cancel this 3, so that I'm left with minus 5x squared. This becomes 0, and you say this is equal to 0. That is equals to 0. So if that is equals to 0, you then say, using quadratic formula, which I believe we remember so well, we normally say that x is equals to minus b plus or minus b squared minus 4 is c. You get the square root of this, and then you divide by 2a. Divide by 2a. So in substituting this, the value of b is the one that does not have a square. So it's this one. So I'm going to have x being equal to minus 9 plus or minus 9 squared minus 4 times a. A is the one that has the power, that has square, so it's minus 5. And c is the one that does not have an x, so times 9, that way. This one, we are getting the square root. And after getting the square root there, you divide by 2a. So 2 times minus 5. So on solving, I would like you to proceed and tell me what is under the square root. Solve and give me this value.
$9.95.
9.95.
95.
9.95. Good.
I have a different answer.
Which
Me
one?
too.
You too.
16.15.
16.15.
Yes.
16.15.
Oh, so even Tekra has that one. So Kevin, yako ndio. Sorry, hii karatasi inapotea kwa sector evening. Good. So tumesema it's not 9. It is 16 points.
15.
15. Kevin, have you confirmed that?
Yes.
Okay, good. Now, if that is true, then you say x is minus 9 plus 16.15 out of 10. All minus 9 minus 16.15 out of negative 10. These are negatives. So this becomes x. So uniambie the final answer for this one. E.
Negative 0.715.
Negative 0.715.
715.
All
2.515.
2.15.
515. 2.515.
2.515. Okay, so now that we cannot have a value that is negative, we settle for the positive. That is 2.515. units. Those are the units that will maximize the profits. Calculate the price that will be charged upon maximizing profits. Maximizing profits. So what we shall do is we shall seek to get the profits. So Tarudi too, let me just put it here. Then although the examiner hakuwa ameuliza, let's not get into that. So the price should be given as the total revenue. The total revenue you divide by the number of units. So it's basically like the average revenue, the average. So it's like the average revenue. Like the average revenue. So if that is the case, we already have the function for the average revenue. Oh, shut up. So you take this one, 3 times 2.515 squared plus 7 times 2.515. Now the whole of this you divide by 2.515. Those are the number of units. That is how you get the to compute just a minute. A minute, I have something here. What is the answer? I'm waiting for the answer. This one. Yeah. Marijuana.
14.545.
Okay, 14.5.
45.
So that is the price. 14 point. Okay. So I think we have answered that question. Let's go to part B. We can have Tekra read for us part B of the question.
Part B, an examination was administered to a group of students and the results were as summarized below. Passed with distinction 10%, passed with credit 60%, fail 30%. A candidate fails the examination if he or she obtains less than 40 in the examination. In order to pass with distinction, the candidate must obtain at least 75 in the examination. Required, calculate the mean and the standard deviation of the distribution of marks, assuming that the marks scored are normally distributed.
Thank you, that's good. So the question is on normal probability distribution. Normal probability distribution. So as usual, you know, we normally draw a table. We draw a table. So our table will look like this. On this side here, we normally have the mean X bar here and the standard deviation. Now these two are missing. The two are missing. But we are told the classes or the marks are divided into 3 categories. We have those who got distinction. They are 10%. So this is distinction. And distinction is 0.1, 10%. Then there are those who got credit. What happened? Credit. This one is passed with credit and is 0.6. And then there are some fellows here who we are told they failed, and they are 30%. They failed. 0.3. And going by what we know about the normal probabilities, that this must always add to 0.5. It then means that this side upper is 0.2. So that this 0.2, ukiongezea kwa hii 0.3, they give you 0.5. Alafu hapa tunajua itakuwa 0.4. So that this 0.4, when you add this 0.1, they give you 0.5. And again, you can see this 0.2 plus this 0.4 gives you 0.6. So in that case, we know that Z is always given as the xi or x minus x bar. You divide by standard deviation. Oh, there is something before I indicate your formula. Sorry, there is something I needed to have written so that my space is not squeezed. We are told that for you to be declared that you have failed, you must be having less than 40%. So this one, X1, it is 40. It's 40%. And for you to get a distinction, you must have scored, this is X2, you must have scored 75%. So at that juncture now, I can come here and say that X1, not X1, Z. Z1 will be given as X1 minus X bar divided by standard deviation. Divide by standard deviation. So, I do not know the standard deviation and I do not know the X bar, but I can be able to get Z1. So I'll say from the tables, Z1 will be. Now tell me whether Z1 will be negative or positive. Whatever answer we shall get, will it be negative or positive? Kelvin?
I think it will be negative.
Good. It will be negative because we are on the lower side. And the Z2 will be positive because you are on the upper side. Now, I want you to go inside the tables. Tutaenda kutafuta nani, Samuel? Which value are we going to read to look for? Inside the tables.
Uh-huh, 0.3.
0.3. Okay. Tekra, do you agree? Tekra. Okay, we are not going to look for 0.3. We will go to look for 0.2. I've always told you when you read from the table, the value that you are getting is always the probability of the space between your X1 and your X bar. So we will look for 0.2. So get inside the normal tables, utafute 0.2. Inside the normal curve, utafute 0.2. Uniambie utachukua 0. what? Uniambie ile value iko kwa row na ile iko kwa column.
Uh, 0.05.
0.05? 0.
0.05. 5.2.
You can either take 5.2 or 5.3. Let's go for 5.3 because 5.3 ndio iko na 0.201, si ndio?
Yes.
Yeah, na hiyo ingine iko na 0.1985. I hope kila mtu amejua. Tunatafuta huku ndani, huku inside. Na hapa ndio ninaona kuna 0.201 which is corresponding to 0.5 on this side. Na hapa juu ni 3. So it is going to be 0.53. So this will be minus 0.53. So if it's minus 0.53, then I'm going to say minus 0.53 is equal to x1, which I know is 40, minus x bar, which I do not know, we divide by standard deviation, which again I do not know. So this one, if I multiply, if I make the this one the subject, hii itakuja hapa na hii rudi hivi. So it will be standard deviation is equals to 40 minus x bar, you divide by negative 0.53.
Excuse me, sir.
Are we okay, Kevin?
No, I have a question.
Yes.
When you look at the value in the normal curve table, the value for 0.05 is 0.199.
At 0.
At 0.05, the value is 0.
At 0.05. Yes.
Do we have 0.05?
Yes, it is there. Ukiangalia kwa hii side ya hapa 0.0 kwa row, alafu ukuje kwa column 5. Hapa ndio anatuambia ni 0.0199. Is that what you are referring to, Kevin?
Yes.
Sasa, I know now your argument is to 2 decimals. This will be 0.02.
Yes. Yes.
But now this one, when you make it percent, it is 2%. But what you are dealing with is not 2%, but 20%, which is the one giving us 0.2. We are looking for 0.2, not 0.02.
Oh, okay. I see it now. Okay, thank you.
Yes. So that's why we have not taken 0.05. We have taken 0.53. So hiyo ya 0.53 ukifuata hapo si unaiona 0.201.
Yes.
Yeah, good. So if that is agreed, nataka tufungue hizi brackets. Nataka tukuje hapa tufungue. Sasa hapa ni baki na standard deviation. 40 divided by minus 0.53 is what? 40 you divide by minus 0.53, you get
75.47.
75.47 minus 1 divided by, now that will become positive. That will become positive. So 1 divided by 0.53.
One 1.88. 1.89.
1.898 bar. So we can put like terms together. Hiyo hii ikibie na huku ama ikikuja na huku itaachwa na standard deviation minus 1.89 x bar is equals to negative 75.47. This one you call it equation number 1. That one you call it equation number 1. When you call it equation number 1, let's do the same with Z2. So Z2 will be X2 minus X bar. You divide by standard deviation. You divide by standard deviation. Remember, we have 2 unknowns, so we must create 2 equations. So this now will be from the tables. From the tables, Z2, which now we already know it will be positive. Z2, we already know it will be positive. Eda sasa unitafutie 0.4 inside the tables. 0.4.
We have 0.415. Is that okay?
At 0.4015.
4015.
The value of Z. Value of Z
From the tables is between 0.4015 and 0.3997.
Sioni kama ni hivyo.
So which value do we take between the 4.015 so that we can get 1.28 or 1.29?
Oh, okay. Sasa nimeona. Okay. Yeah, kuna hiyo 0.3997 na 0.4015 inside, si ndio?
Yes.
Yeah, now you can take the one that you think is closer. The one ile unaona iko closer, either slightly lower or slightly higher. Now you can see ukichukua hiyo ya 97 umebakisha 3 points, lakini ukichukua hiyo ya 9 umepitisha na 15 points. So I would prefer we take hiyo ya 0.3997 so that we take 1.28. But even if you took 1.29, there will be no much difference. It is still acceptable. Kevin, tumeiona hivyo?
Yes, yes.
Okay, Sam?
Yes.
Good. So if that is true, then we proceed down there and say 1.28. 1.28 is equal to x2, which is 75, minus x bar, which we do not know. You divide by standard deviation. So ukipindua venye tumepindua, utaachiwa standard deviation being equal to 75 minus x bar. You divide by 1.28. So this becomes standard deviation is equals to, tell me, 75 when it's divided by 1.28.
58.59.
58.59 minus 1 divided by 1.28.
0.78.
0.78 x bar. So this then becomes standard deviation plus 0.78 x bar is equal to 58.59, and this one becomes equation number 2. That becomes equation number 2. So removing standard deviation from 1 and 2. Removing standard deviation from 1 and 2. Mtachukua standard deviation ile ya 1 minus 1.89 x bar equals negative 75.47. Alafu hii ya pili standard deviation plus 0.78 x bar equals 58.59. Now for me to remove, we have to say subtract. We have to say subtract. So if we say subtract, now tell me, minus 1.89 minus 0.78 is what?
Minus 2.67.
Minus 2.67
67.
x bar. Haya, hii ingine 75 and 58 when you subtract, napata negative 1.
$134.06.
130.
4.06.
Okay. So from there now, divide and tell me x bar.
$50.2.
50.2. So using equation 1. Using equation 1, we'll be able to say standard deviation minus the 1.89 times 50.2 is equal to negative 75.47. So, and tell me standard deviation is what?
$19.408.
19.408. So thus, the mean, we can talk of 50%, and standard deviation, we will talk of 19%. We'll talk of 19%. So we are good there. Want us to go to the next. Okay, so let's have who now? We can have Sam read for us the next question.
Question
Oh.
A, distinguish between the. We go to question B.
Either to question B, because question A is theory, which again you shall be able to get from your notes. So to to part B.
The banking industry in a given country is controlled by 3 banks: Faida Bank, Akiba Bank, and Ahadi Bank. As at 31st December 2020, Faida Bank controlled 30% of the market share, Akiba Bank controlled 50% of the market share, and Ahadi Bank controlled 20% of the market share. A survey was conducted on the market shares of the 3 banks as at 31st December 2021 and revealed the following. Faida Bank had retained 80% of its market share and lost 15% and 5% to Akiba Bank and Ahadi Bank respectively. Akiba Bank had lost 10% and 20% of its market share to Faida Bank and Ahadi Bank respectively. Ahadi Bank had lost 5% of its market share to Faida Bank and 5% to Akiba Bank. There were no significant changes in the banking habits of the customers during the year ended 31st December 2021. Number 1, determine the transition matrix from the above information.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. That's good. So that question is which topic? It's still on Markov, matrices, but on Markov analysis. It's on Markov analysis. So the first thing that we are told to do is to draw what we call transition matrix. We do the transition matrix. Now, transition matrix, we know that on this side, we talk of to, and this side, we talk of from. There are 3 bands here. Kuna moja anaitwa Faida. So we have Faida. Then we have Akiba. And then we have mwingine anaitwa Ahadi. Is it Ahadi real estate? I don't know that it still operates. Then sasa on this side too, we have Faida here. We have Akiba. And we have Ahadi. We have Ahadi here. So now you know when we are doing or we are dealing with the transition matrix, it shows us 2 things. The row shows us the losses and the retentions, while a column shows us the gains and the retentions. Sasa, going by what we are told, tunaambiwa in information 1 that Faida Bank retained 80% of its market share. So from Faida to Faida, 0.8. And lost 15. So losses will be recorded on the row. So it lost 0.15 to Akiba. And it lost 5 to Ahadi. So 0.05. Remember we said the values in the row of the matrix must always add to 1. So if you take these, you find that they are going to 1. Next is Akiba lost 10% and 20 to Faida and Ahadi. So if they lost 10 to Faida, that is 0.1, and they lost 20 to Ahadi, that is 0.2, it means they must have retained 70, 0.7. They must have retained 70. Ahadi lost 0.05 to Faida. So 0.05, that is what they lost there. And they also lost 5, so 0.05. So they must have retained 90% of their customers, 0.9. Okay, from there, determine the market shares of the three banks as that 1st of December 2021. So if you want to get the market share as at that 1st of December 2021, that 1st of December 2021, you will get the market share, as at that 1st of December 2020. 2020, I believe we are given that. You multiply this by transition matrix. Transition matrix. That is what will give you the 2021. So in this one, we have Faida here. In 2020, tunaambiwa it had 30%. You can either work with 0.3 or 30%, whichever you prefer. Then, although I prefer decimals, Akiba is controlling 50%, and Ahadi is controlling obviously now 20%. Now this one, you multiply by the transition matrix, which you already have here. I'm not going to repeat the wordings, so we just go straight to something like this. 0.15, 0.7, 0.05, 0.05, 0.2, 0.90. So the answer you will get when you multiply, hapa juu itakuwa faida. So multiply and give me the answer. Hivi. Pata unipatie jibu.
Never get to it from what I know. So telling me what it has.
You have not gotten.
Zero point 3.
0.3.
0.405.
0.405.
0.295.
295. Good. So this is Akiba and this is Ahadi. So you can see what has happened is that Akiba imenyang'anywa na Ahadi. See, Akiba imerudi chini to 40 from 50. Now wameenda juu to 29 from 20. But Faida has managed to retain its customer base. Haya, from there tunaambiwa namna gani? Tunaambiwa we get the steady state. Get the steady state. So in getting the steady state, so do you come here and say, this is now the steady state. So let the shares be represented by, let the shares be represented by the shares be represented by, we can have X for Faida, Y to represent Akiba, and Z to represent Ahadi. X to represent Faida, Y to represent Akiba, Z to represent Ahadi, such that if you say X plus Y plus Z, it is going to be 1, then means that Z will be 1 minus X minus Y. That is the meaning. And then in the long run, or in the steady state, in the long run, and remember, long run is also called equilibrium. Equilibrium, let me use those words so that you don't find them and you think they are something very strange. So there are 3 words. You can use the steady state, You can use the long run, you can use the equilibrium. Sasa, this now will be x here. This will be y, and this will be 1 minus x minus y. Should be equal to ama wacha niandike, let me clear here so that nisisumbuke na page yangu. Instead of keeping on moving the camera, I can just clear there. Nirudi niseme x here, y, 1 minus x minus y. We are multiplying by the transition matrix, which is 0.8, 0.1, and 0.05. 0.15, 0.7, 0.05, 0.05, 0.2, 0.9. Now this one should be equal to, this one should be equal to x, y, 1 minus x minus y. That is what we should get there. So that is what we should get. Opening the brackets. Ukimultiply hizi na hizi unapata 0.8x plus 0.1y plus 0.05 minus 0.05x minus 0.05y is equal to x. Putting like terms together, we have 0.8x minus 0.05x minus 1x plus 0.1y minus 0.05y is equal to minus 0.05. So tell me this one, 0.8 minus 0.5 minus 1 is equals to what?
And a 0.25.
Negative 0.25, eh?
Yes.
X. Then y, this one minus this, itabaki positive 0.05y being equal to minus 0.05. Now this one, you call it equation number 1. Then you multiply this one, you go in a 0.15x plus 0.7y plus 0.05 minus 0.05x minus 0.05y is equals to y. So putting items together, I'm going to have 0.15x minus 0.05x plus 0.7y minus 0.05y minus 1y is equals to minus 0.05. So this one, I believe it will be 0.1x. Aha, niambie hii nayo itakuwa ngapi? 0.45. 0.7 minus 0.05 minus 1.
Minus 0.35.
Minus 0.35y should be equal to minus 0.05. And this one, you call it equation number 2. I believe you can be able to solve these equations. So I want you to do on your own. On solving, you tell me what is the value of x and what is the value of y. Solve the equations on your own. I see it should give you how many minutes? 5 minutes. Should be enough. Okay. Hata nimepitisha sana. Okay, now tell me the value of x.
Mimi nimepata 0.18.
0.18. Why ukapata?
Can you get a negative figure?
No, it can't be negative.
Nimekosea.
Can't be negative. So umekosea. Then let's resolve it together. If we want to resolve together, we can say we remove what? We remove x. Removing x, I will multiply here by 1, and here I multiply by 25. I don't know that to be. Now let me use the decimals. 0.25. Here I multiply by 0.1. So we get. This one will be negative 0.025x plus 0.005y equals minus 0.005. Niambie hii itakuwa 0.025x minus what? Nipatie hii 0.35 times 0.25.
0.0875.
0.0875y equals, alafu hii ukimultiply na hii itakuwa minus what?
0.0125.
0.125. So now we are going to add so that x disappears. So this plus this nabakiwa minus what? Minus 0.0375y. That's all. Is it true? Tell me now, this other one. When you say minus utapata negative 0.0175. So tell me the value of y from there now.
Mwalimu minus 0.005 minus 0.0875. Sinafaa kuwa negative 0.0825.
Inafaa kuwa negative 0.02.
0825.
Oh, this is 0.8. This is 25.
Yeah. Hapana, nasema sasa answer. Ni 75.
So iko sawa. Hii ni sawa. 0.0875.
Yes.
Haya, sasa tuna subtract hii 5. Oh, Nili confuse decimals. Niliona kama hii 5 na 8 they are in the same place. Then tell me the answer. Unasema inafaa kuwa negative
0.0825.
Hey, wewe. God damn it.
that way. Lakini iko sawa eh? Yeah.
Yes, iko sawa.
Then give me the value of y.
Zero point two one.
0.21.
0.2.
0.2 or 0.21?
0.212121. Recalling.
Oh, so then we can take 0.21.
1.
Then using equation 2. Using equation 2. Using equation 2, this one, we are going to say 0.1 x minus 0.35 times 0.21 is equal to minus 0.05. So to solve it, you tell me value of x from there.
$0.24.
0.24. Thus, z should be equal to 1 minus 0.24 minus 0.21. That gives us what?
0.55.
0.55. So akiba, you can specify venye tulikuwa tu tumesema ama uiache tu hivyo. Tuambie the bank, see the state share. So the first bank ilikuwa inaitwa Faida. Faida ndio ilikuwa imesimamiwa na X. So it is 24%. Huyo mwingine anaitwa Akiba. Akiba alikuwa amesimamiwa na Y. So that is 21%. Then kuna huyu mwingine Ahadi mwenye alikuwa amesimamiwa na Z. 55%. You can see Ahadi they are doing so well. Wamechapa akiba, wakakuja wakatoa akiba kutoka 50 mpaka 21. Wamesukuma Faida kutoka 30 mpaka 24. So they have really encroached the market. Okay. So I think we can call it a day at that point, because now we have like around 10 minutes. So we pick up from there on Monday, our next lesson. I'll try to be physical, but in case nishindwe, I'll do it online. Let you know. So thank you so much. Tupatane in the next lesson.